Oh man. So, without further ado, here is the homoerotic fanfic that was written about me and a band that I was in the year 2016. Let me let people know that I'm going live. What's up, Senshi? This is gonna be a short stream. I'm not gonna be on long. I'm just doing this really quick as like kind of a joke. Um, how you doing today, Senshi? Hey, thanks for the host, but I'm probably gonna get off. Well, I might play some games live after this. Pulling an all nighter. Damn. Well, good luck to you. Oh, it auto hosts. I appreciate it. I'll probably play some games after this, after I read this. What's up, Human Roadkill? I'm just about to read this fan fiction about me. Yes, so this is what we doing. Yeah, this is what we doing. Um, so I guess that's all the people are gonna come in for now, at least. What's up, Big Richard Lizard Man? Oh, nah, is right. Yeah. What's up, Dildotron? This is a homoerotic fan fiction that was written about me. Um, yeah, I'm gonna only be live for a little bit though. I'm not gonna be live for very long. I might hop off and come back. Oh no, yeah. So this is so deathmetal.org shit. Yeah. So some backstory behind this for my followers and stuff who don't know really much about me or like um I should give context behind this. So I am a musician. I've played many instruments. I first started learning to play guitar when I was 11. Um, I joined my first band when I was 14. Um, my second band I was in, I played bass. So I started playing bass when I was 18. And then I started playing drums when I was like 25, 26. Um, much earlier than that, actually. I got my first E kit when I was 23, I think. So I am a musician. I play pretty much every instrument. I play death metal. Death metal was my like genre of choice as far as music that I would both play and listen to. Yeah, for sure. Bass was more of a thing where I'd like, okay, I already know how to play guitar, and it'll be easier for me to get into bands, I guess, if I play bass. But um, anyway, so I was in a band, this band that you see here, this CD for, or this like cover artwork, I guess, for a band called Bestial Evil, and to make a very long story short, my involvement with this band is kind of what made me not be into metal anymore. Kind of what made me exit the metal scene. Because of, well, two things. The first thing, obviously, the most glaring issue being for anyone that knows the story is that two of the members of the band turned out to be like card carrying neo Nazis, which is crazy. And I can get more into like my beliefs, like my politics and stuff. Because I know anybody who watched the stream last night saw me kind of go back with back and forth with Recon a little bit. I mentioned that I consider myself pretty far left in terms of politics in that stream, which is true. But at any rate, that was the first thing that kind of made me get out of Melstein. But number two was the reaction to my kind of unorthodox, I guess, presence. I've said on the stream before, I'm pansexual. I think I was like talking to Black Raider about it. I don't really have a whole like I don't have conversations about like my sexuality and gender a whole lot because I don't fucking trust anyone. So I usually have no issue. Like I don't have any dysphoria or anything like that associated with just like moving through the world being seen as a straight cis male, even though I'm a black male or whatever. But at the time I wasn't really like it wasn't really common knowledge that I was pansexual. I was outed in a pretty shitty situation that it won't even really make sense if I go into it in depth here, but essentially, it was someone trying to pull a "how can I be racist when I have black friends" type thing. It was someone pulling the "how can I be a homophobe when I have a bisexual friend" type of thing, and threw my name out there for no fucking reason. With which is, and he was in conversation with with neo Nazis, like people that were trying to write as much negative shit about us as they possibly could, which was like a fucking stupid move on his part, obviously. But out of the product of that came lots of really fucking honestly kind of fucking weird in retrospect, like obsessive posts about me and the band that I was in. But this is probably the most unhinged post that was written about myself and my band. And I've read this before when it happened back in 2016. You can see here, this post is dated May 18th, 2016. I also want to look at another post because I thought something was interesting in terms of a Peter Helmkamp interview. So I might look at that after we look at this, but without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and read this because this is funny, I guess. So, with that like deep level of context, the short-term context is the band that I was in had just released our, I guess, I don't know if you would consider it a debut album, but we had just put this CD that you see on the screen out, and this site, I don't want to give how to actually get to them. If you really want to Google them and fucking give this garbage fucking site clicks, you can do that, but I'm not going to list their hot link here. But Death Metal Underground, this is one of the articles that they wrote about us. Like I said, this is the most unhinged one, so it's the funniest one, but I'm going to go ahead and start reading. Let me move closer a little bit so I can actually hit the page down key. All right. Here we go. Sorry. Yeah, I don't want to know the guy that's Googling Death Metal Underground. Yeah, I feel sorry for the guy that's Googling Death Metal Underground too. But here we go. All right. This promotional contribution from the social justice warrior-ridden Baltimore metal scene is terrible. It sounds like Pig Destroyer meets Christian metalcore. The anonymous local supplier bravely contributed a shocking report of a recent Bestial Evil show in Baltimore. Sean Wright knelt down of the floor. It's like already starting out stupid, but Sean Wright knelt down of the floor of the sidebar stage in Baltimore for Bestial Evil's anti-fascist art performance. He wrestled the cassette tape of mocking the philanthropist roughly into his rectum in front of the glory hole drilled into the wall. Nick knelt at the other side and pushed a freshly frozen bowel movement through the drilled hole. Both licked it up and down with glee. Meanwhile, on Sean's side of the divide, Evan and Kevin's undersized penises convulsed and flailed with an almost seizure-like intensity at the coprophilic site, with site spelled wrong. They began to slap Sean's face. I don't even know if I'm gonna like if I'll get TOS for reading this. Like, should I even be reading this on stream? Am I gonna get TOS for this? This is like low key pornographic. Anyway, at times their pale members seemed to shift back and forth from one cheek to the other. A junkie crowd gathered almost immediately to watch Sean suck and stroke these boys, inter- intertwining intertwining the shafts like a pair of pit vipers. They were confused or concerned or shocked or aroused or all of the above, but no one dared interfere with the performance. Sean's long, dyed with just for men hair hung down, concealing his face like a curtain around a hospital bed. No one had any idea that Kevin and Evan's glands were revolving under his ruby tongue piercing. They soon burst and smeared their flaxen cream across Sean's double chin. Running his hand through his rent boy frosted tips, Nick, with his hands stuffed crassly down the front of his pants, exclaimed, "This is beautiful. This is art." Which is like just like a blatant ripoff of like Pig Destroyer, right? But anyway, this is a lot. I forgot how much this was. This person needs help. Anyway, Sean lapped at the semen and said it tasted metallic like the crystal meth Bestial Evil had cooked up the prior day using the last of the CVS brand D-cell batteries Kevin had looted in the riots last year. That's actually kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. That's kind of funny. Evan and Kevin took drags off a cigarette butt picked up off the ground. That's also kind of funny because, I mean, yeah. Nick burst on stage, his face brown with melted feces and bleached blonde hair milky white with ejaculate. Kevin, is blackface okay when you use a black guy's shit instead of shoe polish? Of course, as it humiliates the colonizing white slavers instead of the downtrodden and whipped African slaves, lectured Kevin as he rolled the shit stick twice the size of his penis across Nick's effeminate face. Jacob prepared Sean's asshole for the reparations using his drumsticks. He could only pry it a little wider before blood poured in from the wrecked rectal walls. The tape had to be pushed in deeper for the symbolic act to follow. Evan stood in front of the gaping ravine. He was about to shoot up the last of his stash. It's funny that they thought that Evan was a fucking junkie. But jamming the needle into the dorsal vein on the underside of his penis, that's not what dorsal means. His spent member instantly hardened. As he pressed down on the syringe, injecting the hot liquid heroin into his bloodstream, semen and blood surged. This is someone who's never done heroin. Semen and blood surged forth from the tip of his engorged member. He aimed the mixture, red and white like a barbershop pole, deep into Sean's gaping pit, covering the cassette and lubricating the quivering intestinal walls before collapsing onto the stage floor, littered with fast food wrappers and rat droppings. Some of the sanguine ejaculate landed on Jacob's hands, which he licked off with glee before placing a rare original No Colors Records CD of Facta Lacantora gently atop Sean's intergluteal cleft for this ultimate anti-fascist demonstration. Oh, it's an absurd record. I didn't understand what that shit was. When I read this, I have eyes. That's funny. Yeah, the people that wrote this were like super fucking. I don't know what to call the people that wrote this, honestly. I forgot how much this was. I really hope the person that wrote this sought therapy. But Kevin held Sean's legs up in the air in a V shape while Jacob continued prying open the rectum even wider. Nick's body was completely covered with thick, muddy shit. With his frosty plumage stiffened into a Roman legionary crest from his own dried semen, he looked like Wesley Snipes in Demolition Man, but smelled like Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura when nature calls. He was ready. Evan emerged from backstage holding a huge, almost 2 feet long, thick, frozen turd of Kevin's. Kevin's measly 3-inch member could never hope to perform in a tense situation such as this in front of all Bestial Evil's 4 fans. Evan handed the sacred cultic bowel movement over to Nick to perform a symbolic act. This would be the black nails for Sean's human St. Peter's cross. Nick grasped the bisexual black man's turd with both hands and walked behind Sean, now held upside down with his legs split into a V shape with ankles held at his sides by Kevin and Evan. Sean's asshole was now a giant, foot-wide red sore with the National Socialist black metal CD atop it. Nick held the stiff black shit up before the small crowd and thrust the ritual fecal phallus onto the CD like a pestle to a mortar. The Aryan polycarbonate was no match for the shit stiffened by the black power of left-wing social righteousness. The CD shattered, sending shards of sharp plastic deep into Sean's intestinal walls, pouring blood over the edges of the sacred buttock chalice into the plastic cups of the four fans who gulped down the hot, rapidly coagulating foul mixture. The blood lubricated the entry of the firm, frozen fecal dildo deep into Sean's shorn, pale body. Nick pushed it all the way in using the palms of both hands, perforating Sean's intestines as Longinus pierced the side of Christ. Intermingled screams of pain and pleasure filled the sidebar dungeon. Sean shouted, "I am the white American Christ. I atone for the sins of the privileged. Blacks, my crucifixion is your reparation. Infectious cross is the gospel of your liberation from oppression. Bestial evil are Baltimorean apostles." There's probably more comments too. Nope. People got bored commenting like within a month, I guess. Too long, didn't read. A Baltimore band fuck around with poop, penises, blood, semen. They have white guilt. Yeah, that's pretty much. I guess that was the gist of what the author was trying to say. And then there's a bunch of people complaining. This was the funniest part to me, is that there was actually people who complained like, yo, whoever wrote this, like, get help. And whoever like mods this site, why would you allow fucking trash like this on the site? And people hopped in immediately to defend it and be like, there's always been these types of articles on here all the way back in the anus days. If you don't like it, you can just get out because clearly you haven't been here for very long. And it's just like, yo, why? It's just amazing to me that they would enjoy a site like this with content like that. See, and here's the Angel Corpse thing. Bestial Evil paying to play with Angel Corpse, which is, I mean, probably happened. If you look at this, March to Victory. I see the name March to Victory and immediately think of a band that sold tickets. We got Sick Deer over here, you know what I mean? And the Hallmark, definitely. We got Bound by the Grave right here back in the day, 2017, Bound by the Grave. Oh, yeah, they definitely paid to be on this show. Genocide Pact is the local name drop to get the kiddies out, you know what I'm saying? But, like, I'm like, yo, the Hallmark is look how shitty and stretched the logos are. Like Genocide Pact, because they're the only band worth the fuck, their logo is like actually, like, you know what I mean, unfucked with. And then you have, of course, because they're the headliners, their logos are unfucked with as well. But you have all this shit all stretched out and shit. It's funny. Anyway, I'm gonna open this because this apparently here are some choice excerpts from Helmcap's interview and the Finnish scene, whatever, from Order. This is basically an Order from Chaos interview with Pete Helmkamp that I didn't realize existed until now, where he's talking about Hitler being smart or some shit like that. Hang on, let me find it. Here it is. Many people whine and complain about people like Hitler and Manson and people like them, but they had some really innovative ideas, right? Which is a fucking insane question off top, right? But the answer that Pete Helmkamp gives is Hitler particularly had some incredible ideas, as did Nietzsche, Treacher, Crowley, spelled wrong, all spelled wrong, naturally. Crowley, Machiavelli, etc. I admire those who think and act powerfully, yet one must realize that to follow blindly is suicide. By not following the goals of the self, one slips into ignorance and slavery. That's interesting. I don't particularly think that Hitler had anything of value to offer the world, but To each their own, I guess. Question marks. Um, what's some other shady shit he said in this dumbass interview? You call yourself supremacist. Why do you think Satanists are worth less than you? What do you think Satanism should be all about? Satanism and supremacists can be the same, but it is up to the Satanists to realize that one must truly transcend the entire good/evil motif. Are we not beyond good and evil? Thus, most Satanists are nearly devil worshippers who play act their evil. These fools are worse than they oppose. They maintain their lesser statuses than those of us who have ascended to the plateau of invincibility. I'm just like, I don't know. Oh yeah, here's where you talk about how like Africa just is just nothing but diseases, and like the modern world is invented by European people. Hold on. Samaria is the cradle of the ASTR people. Oh, he's of course famous empires were the Romans and Greeks, but also in more ancient days there were other empires. Which of those empires do you know, and what do you think of them? Samaria, Sumeria, as in reference to Aryan people, is the cradle of the ASTR people. This is the beginning of mathematics, writing, tool use, domestication of animals, of all the things that together create civilization. Also, now they are discovering mummies in Western China of Europeans who carried the knowledge of civilization to China in 2000 BC. So yeah, he literally thinks that Europeans like gave civilization to the rest of the world. They will soon discover more. I'm currently writing some material on the European roots to Chinese civilization. That's just wow. I believe you have more certain ideas concerning where civilization started. Tell us about it. The ASTR people are responsible for all creation/civilizations in history. ASTR stands for Area Serpent Theos Race. They are basically of European stature and at one time roamed the plains and steppes of Central Asia and Eastern Europe, sailed the Mediterranean, ruled the river civilization of Egypt, which is not true, Mesopotamia, and northern India, and of course ruled in the forests and clearings of Western and Northern Europe. One day these lands will be ours again. Look what was done in the Western Hemisphere, total and complete colonization of America and also of Australia and New Zealand. It is a pity that Africa proved so full of diseases. So like yeah, I don't get where like so like all the like this is why like when people think I'm crazy for saying all war metal is sus, that like Conqueror record or whatever, that's what the person who invented that fucking record thinks, dude. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe my opinion of the music is colored by that because all that shit sounds like bricks in a fucking washing machine to me. And it literally only serves as virtue signaling for other like baby Nazis to me. But hey, some people are into it, I guess. But why the fuck did GPAC play that show, LMAO? I mean, I'm sure Zach Oler paid them a pretty penny. And that's what's funny is like, I'm sure, like, if you just look at all five of these bands here, maybe not Blackened, but probably, who knows? Like, all this was basically to go to pay this, and this. Like, that's how Zach Oler shows work. All the bands that have warp text for logos, all the bands that have warped ass fucking hideously deformed logos for this shit, their fucking prepaid like ticket sale or straight up hand exchange money just went right in the Genocide Pact, Angel Corpse, and Black Anvil's hands at the end of the night. That's how that works. And they fucking, of course, they reamed Bestial Evil for pretending to be like the whole reason I even looked at that was because it came from this article talking about how Bestial Evil don't actually like practice what they preach because they talk about how they're Antifa and shit, and they play shows with Angel Corpse. They pay to play shows with Angel Corpse, and like there's a picture of me like all fucking cheesed up with fucking Pete Helmkamp and shit because I'm just like, all right, cool. Yeah, I kind of fucked with Angel Corpse back in the day, whatever. I had no idea that this man was fucking out here talking about how the Europeans invented civilization and gifted it to the Chinese people and to Africa. That's fucking crazy. But you don't listen to heavy metal or death metal, it's Kittle. It's cool. I used to play death metal. I still play grind, but like, yeah, bands like Revenge and shit are all fucking garbage. All fucking garbage. I support my homies just because they're my homies, but like that genre of music is extremely fucking sus, and I don't understand why people are into it, honestly. But yeah, y'all. That was it. Um, I will probably be back in a second. I might play something else. I'm honestly just sitting here eating sunflower seeds. Um, I'm gonna end the stream now. If let's see, what's Sock doing? Is Sock online? They're all playing Party Animals. I might play some Party Animals. We'll see. I'll be back soon.